Hi, I'm Sven, and welcome to the Kryptonite How-To series. Now it's time to install the Kryptonite Transit H-Bar carrier onto the handlebars of our bike here. Great way to carry your Kryptonite U or cable lock. You've got the primary bracket body, you have the large hook and loop strap, and the small hook and loop strap. Those are going to be used to actually secure the lock. You also have the rubber cradle insert, the hex bolt, the hex wrench, and the rubber handlebar shim. You'll notice that the bolt goes into a nylon-backed lock nut. The reason this is important is as you're riding around, the bike is vibrating, you want to make sure that that bolt doesn't back out, and that nylon lock nut keeps that from happening. Also, the rubber handlebar shim, you'll notice, is 6.5 inches long. And this is so that you can fit this on a handlebar anywhere from 20 millimeters to 32 millimeters. Inside the instructions is a nice little guide that enables you to figure out the diameter of your handlebars in case you don't know it. So we're just going to trim that out now. Of course, we have our safety scissors. Safety first with everything we do here in the shop. And we trim that out. Ow! Oh, just kidding. We trim that out. Make sure you get it all the way around. We'll take our shim. We're going to wrap it right around the handlebars. Okay, this is a 26-0 handlebar. So after you've measured your handlebar with your guide A, you do want to refer to the instructions for guide B in here to figure out what the length of your rubber shim is. In this case, we have a 26 millimeter diameter handlebar, so we're going to cut our rubber shim down to 4¼ inches. So we're going to take our handy dandy tape measure. 4¼ is right about there. I'm going to drop the tape measure, and we are going to make our cut. Now that we've measured out our rubber shim and we know where we're going to install this, I'm just going to quickly wipe down my handlebar a little bit, make sure that area is clean. That looks pretty good. Put my shop rag back. And now in my hand I have the bolt, I have the hex wrench, I have the bracket, and my rubber shim. And we're going to get all this stuff working together. First, I'm going to take my bracket and I'm going to just put it over the handlebar. Now I've taken the bolt out so that I can open this up. And in this case, I'm going to have the wider part of the cradle aiming towards me, so more towards the cockpit. So you have to spread this a little bit and drop it over the bar. It's okay that it's sort of just flopping around there for a second. We're just letting it hold. Now we're going to take the rubber shim that we've measured and cut, and we're going to wrap that right around the bar. I'm going to take my bracket. I'm holding the shim with my thumb to keep it in place, and I'm using the index finger of that hand to open the bracket and slide it right over. Now that we've got that in place, I'm going to sort of twist that up just a little bit. I'm going to take my bolt, slide it through the hole in the backside, and start working that bolt in so it connects into that nut, again, that has that nylon backing, so that as we tighten this up, it won't back out as we're riding around some of those rougher roads. So we take that down to finger tight, just see how it feels. That bracket is not going anywhere. So once you have it installed, you can look at several different options as to which direction you carry your lock. Do you want the shackle going basically straight up and down, at an angle, or straight out? It's very easy to make that adjustment. You simply loosen that bolt in the back, and then you can rotate the entire bracket to meet whatever needs you may have. So now it's time to actually put our ULock in the bracket. We're going to take the ULock portion and just make sure you're not impacting in any way, shape, or form any of the brake or shifting cables. Slide that right through that smaller piece. Then we're going to take our barrel and slide that up as well. And in essence, you're just putting your lock back together at this point. Okay, now that is in there, and you go ahead and cinch down your straps, and you are good to go. The H-bar works for both key and combination cable styles. The locking head goes into the wider part of the cradle, and then the locking post goes through down here. Simply put them together. I would recommend turning the combination so that it doesn't come out arbitrarily while you're riding. And then once you have it sort of centered, go ahead and cinch it down and go for your ride. Make sure your hook and loop straps on the cable are snug. Here are a couple of tips to remember when installing the Transit H-bar carrier. The Transit H-bar carrier works with all lock brands. Use the rubber cradle insert for all Kryptonite locks except the New York Forget About It Mini ULock. Not all ULocks need the shackle to be removed from the crossbar before mounting. If you do not have an issue of brake or shift cables in the way, you can also just slide the ULock in from the side. Do not over-tighten the hex bolt. Remember, if you have a carbon fiber or thin-walled aluminum handlebar, it is important that you do not exceed the maximum clamp force as detailed by the handlebar's manufacturer specifications, or you run the risk of crushing the tubing. And lastly, test your Transit H-bar carrier fit after your first ride and adjust accordingly. We now have our Kryptonite H-bar carrier all set, ready to go, mounted up with a Kryptonite lock. It's now time to go out, get in a ride.